Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yes. Welcome to A Couple of Sassholes podcast. Fuck.
Podcast.
I was like, sasshole.
It's
just
a
one.
podcast. It's a podcast. Woo-woo.
Okay. I'm Brooklyn Johnson.
I'm still Heather Terry.
Yeah, we're pushing through it. If you guys haven't listened to us before, this is our power hour of true crime where we talk about fucked up people doing fucked up shit, usually for fucked up reasons, sometimes for no reasons at all, because people be crazy.
They are very crazy.
I feel like that's the add-on I've had at the end of this is like, the crazy.
I do like it.
Crazy. I am still a bundle of fucking pissed off energy because I was just fucking hacked like 3 hours before we came in here to record. I had other meetings. This hack happened. I manage other like accounts and it fucking sucked. So luckily I've not been in like a fight or flight situation in a long time. And I read a lot of books and they're like talking about these like horrible moments where they can hear their heartbeat in their ears. And like literally that is what has happened to me. My body feels like I have fought off a fucking mountain lion today.
I feel like you did. You kind of did. And when you called, I could feel your rage and anxiety and
fear.
Sadness and fear
everything.
through the phone, and I couldn't do anything about it. And I was heading to a lunch, and I was like, "Here, try this. I'm driving." Like
it was terrible,
yeah.
and it was like they got into my Instagram account first from a link that looked like something my friend would have sent. Like, I want to be so clear. It wasn't something stupid. Like,
no,
this made sense for what the person who sent it to me. I'm like, they would totally do that. And I clicked on it. I was like, sure. And I was like, that's kind of weird. It doesn't say the right name. They're like, oh, it's okay. You just said, fucking did that. They got into my Instagram account. Within seconds, it was probably a few minutes. And then Jess was the first one to see it. And she messaged me and she was like, is this real? At the second, and I swear to you, my heart rate skyrocketed. My stomach dropped. And then I went through and I saw all these people that they were sending these links to that were all about to get fucking hacked. All of them were saying, yes, absolutely, because it was asking to be voted for a podcast.
Right. Because that was my first question to you. I'm like, oh, people will realize you got hacked.
No,
and you're like, and then
no,
I read the message and it was like, vote for me to be on this podcast and da 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 da. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And everyone did. And so I was trying to, like, while I was in it, watching all these messages like insanely go through so fast, and all my friends responding, sure, did it, on it, doing it now, everyone.
Right.
And I was just like, oh my gosh. And so I started trying to respond to my friends and saying, I've been hacked. And they blocked me from responding to anyone.
That's so crazy.
And then I got onto my Instagram and I had to create a fucking Canva because Instagram's stupid that you have to have like a fucking thing. And I'm like, I've been hacked. Post it. They take it down.
Oh no.
I couldn't tell anyone on my Instagram accounts that I was hacked. They had changed everything so quickly that I could only get in the account for maybe like 5 seconds at a time. And they would change it and get me knocked out of it.
People suck, man.
And it was horrible. And I still have lost full control of my Instagram. They got into my Facebook. My Facebook manages 5 other accounts. All of them for work. And I was just like, if they and I'm worried about getting in the Facebook. I was like, they're going to get my work accounts. And so I'm freaking out over that. And then my husband comes in. He's like, did you check your bank accounts? What other things did you log into with that? I'm like, I'm worried about the Facebook. And he's like, why the fuck is that what you're worried about? Worry about your money. And I'm like, I'm not worried about my stupid Facebook account. I'm worried about 850 people on one of those accounts getting hacked by the name of an employer.
Right. That's insane.
And I don't know, the Facebook one, somehow I was able to. Like as soon as they went in, for anyone this fucking happens to, they go in and they mirror a second account and then create and attach a second account to you. And then you can't delete that account because you don't have the passwords to it. Man. I was able to do Facebook, and I'm super grateful because I think I got in it before they had made a new account, like login for it. But And so I had my employers like knock me off of everything, calling him fucking half in tears. Right. And he's awesome. And he was like, it's okay. I'm going to log in right now. Absolutely. I'll change the passwords. We'll log you in later. I was like, okay, thank you. And he's like, okay. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh my gosh. And then my Instagram, I've spent the last 2 hours fist fighting the fucking keyboard warriors that I have been. And I can't get into I've tried every fucking way you can skin that cat.
That's insane.
Hopefully the cat just needs to be hung up for a second for me to come back and try to reskin. because I'm coming for you. Whoever the fuck you are.
Fucking Sneaky Pete's, man.
Sneaky Pete
Sneaky
in Nigeria. I'm so mad that, well, I'm grateful because it made it so easy. One of the other logins was from Texas. So someone in the Texas area, I'm coming for you too. I'm kidding, I'm not. This is not me threatening anyone in a live video environment. But, because I don't know who it is. And I don't even care. Just get the fuck off my shit.
Right.
What are you getting? That's what I'm wondering. Is
know.
like with these, when they're getting people to click on it and they're getting logins and they're spreading the clickbait, where my fear is, what else did that do?
I don't know.
Besides sharing that.
I don't understand. They can probably
where's the
get
money?
your personal information. Some people have their like bank accounts linked to their Facebook for like Facebook Pay
Yeah.
and stuff. So
that's what I was thinking too, because I was like, I don't have any credit cards in my Facebook or anything.
Either way, don't hack. Get a fucking job.
Oh, I'm not even worried about that. People be smart. Like,
yeah, don't
if
click on
somebody,
shit.
even if it looks right, I don't know. I can't even say it, dude.
It looked legit.
It looked legit, and then they talked. In some cases, I've heard just now that some of it was improper English or something, but all the other responses I saw sounded like me.
Mm-hmm.
Like
bizarre.
they made it seem like it was me.
Yeah.
In the sense of like just a fucking American person, not like they were like sounding like my.
You can tell when
it.
bots are talking to you.
Like someone was like, "Hey,
different.
I saw that you got hacked. Like, are you cool?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for giving me a heads up, though." Like that's pretty fucking normal.
You know, this is what I guess we can do. Now at least you know all your people support you. Hopefully they don't get hacked.
Now we need to get voted for something, which no one's ever going to vote for me again.
Let's do that again. I'm going to say that I got hacked and I'm going to subscribe to our page. And then I'll just wait and then I'll be like, I got hacked. You know what I mean?
You know
like,
what?
Send it.
I
mean, everybody wanted to vote for you. Maybe they'll all subscribe to our show. If I
Travis is like
that.
try to hurry up and send a message to all of your Instagram people. I was like, by the time I Google that, I'm logged out again. Like there was no way of telling anyone. Mm-hmm. And then you just saw like all of these friends just succumb to what just happened. Man. And now all their Instagrams, if they were fast enough to even see it, to like fix it, I don't know. Fuckers, man.
Man.
And now I'm paranoid. Now I'm worried. Like I just don't know what I don't know on what I had. And so it's like, not only is it that password, it's like you have to change everything that has that password.
Yep. Sucks.
And I'm a genius with the passwords and I use the same fucking one.
Most people do. That's why they fucking log that shit. I have to keep mine like written down because I have to switch them up. I have like 8 different ones I use, but I don't know which one I use on what bullshit.
I'm hoping I got everything logged right.
I bet you did. I believe in you. And
even in this moment, I'm like, after this tonight, I'm going to go back through and rewrite all of my passwords and just make sure every single one was changed. But it sucks, and it's been a terrible feeling. And so I'm really happy that this was done. And I was like raring to go.
Right.
To be able to like breathe.
Because
this would have been a canceled day.
Yeah. I did give you a trap door.
I was like, I'm so overwhelmed by shit. Heather is very loving in the sense that she will give a trap door when no one needs a trap door. No one's asking for a trap door. I don't have a trap door to give because I couldn't do it at a different date. And she's like, here's a trap door. And I'm like, I'm not even acknowledging your trapped door right now. Because there's not another option to like re-record on a different day. We're already like pre-recording for so far in the distance for my vacations. I'm like, I'm not moving anything. So we're going to do it. We're going to lift ourselves up. And as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to scurry back to my computer and quadruple change everything again. So my story or my conclusion of this is fuck hackers unless you're on a really cool show where you hack into bad guys. But other than that, fuck you guys. Fuck you. You pooed on my day. I'm going to tell you a story.
Okay.
And it's a pretty wild one.
Good.
Kind of. I also had anxiety this morning that I've already done this story. How does that happen to us, guys? Like we've done
3 years.
So many stories.
That's why.
That we cannot remember if we've done them. And because we thought we were so smart to like create an Excel sheet back at episode 1 and we put the name. We're like, we're fucking geniuses. We are so smart. We put the title of the names, which is like dick in my hand or weird platypus vagina. Like none of them say what the fuck the episode is.
Some of them say like weird news and it's just like the topic we did. So even if it's like, it's basically like saying, we did a murder this week. Like,
yes.
and
Here's the episode name and number and no other identifying information.
Right. And I have a terrible memory, and I also watch, eat, and sleep and breathe true crime all the time. So, like, I might recognize a name, but I probably watched a Dateline on it.
Right.
Or a special.
I realized I'd watched probably something on this too, and that's why I started second guessing it.
Right.
But even on top of that, whenever I would save my research, I was like, all right, we'll go into your research folder of your 150 fucking book reports and Google the names in there. There was a whole section of my fucking podcast career that all I did was name my fucking stories. And those are the titles. So it's like Brutal Baron. Who the fuck is Baron? I don't even know, but I made a cute little name for it.
You did used to put like a lot of time into the names. And
I didn't put any time into the name. They always were right there. That's why I named them, because they were so like quick and easy and witty to me. But none of them were the name of who I was doing. We've crushed it. Mm-hmm. Nailed it. So now I've gone into like the most intense detail that I'm like listing every single fucking person that was ever in the story. So if we ever Google that again,
you like log into, you get an ancestry.com account and you know their whole
pretty much
genealogy just because you're like, I will know everything.
You look at the Excel sheet and it's just runoffs because it's just like 16 names of whoever the fuck it was.
Running through them hoes. Tell me a story.
I'm gonna.
All right.
Vanity Fair helped me. Goldstream News Gazette. Czech News, Times Colonist, and also CTV News. Those were all the fucking things I read while I was doing this. So what do you think happens when two boys find solace, lean into the darkness of troubling thoughts, and believe that somehow they are smarter than authorities? You already know.
Murder.
Those crazy fucking hormones. And they're just the bizarre ass ideas that come about a 17-year-old should probably be discussed in a licensed therapy section.
Session. A therapy section.
Yep.
This is where
I need to be in a therapy section.
Bipolar is aisles 1 through 5.
Yes. That.
Yeah.
Anyway. Back in 2010, unfortunately, nobody was doing the therapies. And so we're going to go a little bit back in time. With that, we turned to the keyboard and struck the match on a big old pile of shit. That they're going to pay for till this day. So we have Kruse Wellwood, whose name sounds like it should have been on an episode of Degrassi. Did you ever watch Degrassi?
I aged out.
I didn't age out. I just thought it was stupid. Okay. He was born on January 23rd, 1994 to Robert and Nadine. Now, his father was no ordinary man. He was Robert Deswan, cool last name, who was an epic fucking terrible guy. And he had a super long rap sheet that landed him in prison when his son was born. He was convicted of sexually assaulting and strangling a 16-year-old girl.
Oh, God. No.
And he received a life sentence. So needless to say, he was raised by his mother and grandparents in those informative years. He grew up in a bungalow with his mother on Happy Valley Road in Langford, British Columbia.
When you said bungalow, in my head, I thought bunker.
I need to, like, in this moment, I put the house in the notes, so I'm sure it's popped up. But I'm like, what exactly is a bungalow? Because I kept saying a bungalow, I was like, I feel like I'm just going to show the house so people knew what a bungalow. I'm just here to give you information you need.
It's fun to say. But yeah, in my head, it was like Kimmy Schmidt bunker. Like him and his grandma and his mom were just kicking it underground in a bunker.
Nope, they just had a house.
On Happy Lane.
Yep. When he was about 10 years old, he lived with his maternal grandparents until he was about 14. He would eventually go back to living with his mother, though he showed signs of violence early in life. He even had hit his mother on 2 occasions. And so it was a disrespectful little ditty.
He sounds like it.
In school, he had attended Ruth King Elementary, where in the 5th grade, he met Cameron Moffatt. They became besties and they were basically inseparable. And they chose to be the bad type of good friends. They would skip school. They smoked the devil's lettuce. Don't we all? Kruse was gaining a bad reputation in school, and teachers said that he could potentially be gifted, but he was rude and arrogant for no fucking reason at all. And they had already noted him by that time that he was, and I quote, anti-female.
So he hated women. How old was he again?
That was back in like the 5th grade is whenever I started that. I'd say that was probably a high school teacher at that point. But at the time of all of this, the
Yeah.
max age in this journey is 16.
Jesus.
So
Okay.
under 16 years old, and he was an anti-female.
Anti-female. He also was potentially gifted.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone described as
They were like, he could have, well,
he could have been something, but it's just the verbiage, I guess, was
I guess because he was gone after 16. So how would they have really gotten to that gifted part? He could have been gifted if he would have tried and wasn't a cunt and also didn't go to jail. Because I'm not hiding that this motherfucker's in prison on this one.
Well, you kind of alluded to
Yeah.
the fact that he was a bad person.
Well, and I also very rarely am doing stories where I'm like, the bad guy got away. Because that pisses me off. I'm pissed off enough
yeah,
currently.
that is true.
So the red flags are billowing in the fucking breeze. And they're going to continue to.
Okay.
He'd get into fights. He didn't show up to class. He would bring fucking weapons to school, like fucking box cutters.
What?
He had also started cutting himself at one point to release the pain, which once, don't do that. But I'm also like, you were raised by loving individuals. They just his mom was a single mom. And so she wasn't in his face all the time,
Right.
but she was trying and she was working. It's not like she was like a meth addict. And like the dude, let's be honest. The dude had the blood of his dad. That is what it is.
Sounds like
This
it.
feels very psychological with him specifically. Quote from a Vanity Fair article. At one point in February of 2009, and the reason I had to do this was because there wasn't an easier way to do it. At one point in February of 2009, Kruse had posted an entry on a WordPress blog entitled Early Warning Signs of a Serial Killer. He listed common traits, including animal abuse, fascination with fire, abandonment by a father, and an intense interest in
Masochism.
Thank you, porn. That was very hard. I knew it when this came on. I was like, that's going to be me.
Yeah,
Sadomasochistic porn. Woo, woo.
So basically, he gets his rocks off by causing pain in others.
Yes. And in this, what he says is, quote, and this is how I knew he was potentially gifted because he used the word peculiar. That's a weird thing to say as a high school student, personally. The peculiar thing is I meet all 14 criteria of a serial killer. Apparently, though, meeting all criteria makes it unlikely for the subject to be a serial killer. I suppose only time will tell.
Man.
Oh, and can I also say when these faces pop up, I had the faces backwards in my own personal journey of this story, and it fucked me right in my butthole by the end of it. Because one of them looks gentle and one doesn't. And I thought the gentle one was Kruse. And I had the photos flopped. And I was like, everything is just clicking right into place now. Clicking right into place. Okay. Kruse and Cameron dive deeper into their party drug life. I was making sure I didn't skip. Okay. And by 10 years old, guys. 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going back into how just follow. He was already drinking and using drugs like LSD and ecstasy in their early teens.
That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
It's very peculiar.
They additionally spent their free time playing World of Warcraft and chatting on MSN. The fun part of this is that we're constantly referencing chatting on MSN because that's what it was then.
Oh my God, I remember.
And that was only 15 years ago.
I know.
Well, this whole journey is over. Anything I'm talking about with Cam and Kruse essentially happened from the 5th grade until they were like sophomores, juniors.
Okay.
So you can understand this is the development area of their life.
Chatting on MSN. If you're for our younger listeners, just Google that.
Yeah. Well, you're going to need to know it because it's how everything happens on this one.
So
this is an online fucking situation. Cameron Moffatt had a much better upbringing and he looks super gentle and he looks like he would have been a sweet guy. His family was relatively stable and he grew up with his mother and stepfather present. They were considered the working middle class and there were no records of abuse or neglect. Cameron was quiet and reserved, and this part of his demeanor landed itself quite beautifully to his violent friend Kruse. He started getting into trouble as Kruse continued to
escalate. I'm here.
Just looks up like, oh, honey, find your words. You can do this.
I'll catch you.
Dang it.
I open trap doors, and I'm also here to lift you up.
Catch me
what
when
I
I
do.
fall. Escalate his bad choices and made sure his friends rode shotgun throughout everything. Like, Kruse and Cam got in trouble in every possible way, basically together. He started getting suspended with his friend, and as he got older, he started to have these same kind of behaviors as well. Violence and misogyny are becoming his new air, and as he keeps chatting with his friend online, the negative ideas, the feelings, all that jazz are being reinforced.
Oh, God.
As they chat online, where all conversations are held in a literal digital journal,
Right.
we can see that they are now fantasizing about torture, rape, and murder. Young.
Ugh.
Parents, where you at? Where are you at?
They ain't up on MSN.
I'm raising my hand in the classroom to just say, where the fuck you at? Now, what I do find to be a very bullshit thing for me to do is to sit here on my high horse of this soft chair and say, where are my parents at? Because I didn't birth any children. So I don't know what it's like. But what I will say is your kids are never going to be 100% themselves with you as they're going through the hormonal change of becoming an adult. I'm not
Right.
saying like an 8-year-old. I'm saying as they're getting older, they're becoming who they are. Their minds are changing. Bare Menzies, under the age of 18, scroll through their shit. Privacy is important. I agree. I totally agree on privacy.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're like, hey, your messages are going to be available to me, something. Because I really just want to highlight that for years, these kids were talking about raping, murdering, and torturing people on a computer.
Unchecked.
Unchecked.
Right.
And it could have been seen.
Mm-hmm.
It really, it was there.
Mm-hmm.
It was there. So I obviously know I can't say fucking shit about fuck. I understand that pot, kettle, black, or some shit, but log in and just make sure, just maybe do a little scroll through and just make sure they're not like, man, I really want to cut someone's throat.
Right.
It could help save a throat from being cut.
Yes. Save a throat. Ride
Yeah.
a cowboy. I don't know. I just want to make you laugh because I need a drink.
Oh, okay. As they get older, their ideations get more solidified in their minds. Now we have Kimberly Proctor, who's over here living a completely different life before their paths would meet. She was born in Langford, British Columbia as well, on January 1st, 1992, our little New Year's baby. She had a wonderfully close-knit family. Her parents were extremely loving. They were named Fred and Lucy.
That's cute. Oh, Lucy, I'm home.
They were so cute. And they were super attentive and loving and fully involved in their child's life. Like,
That's good.
she was it. Sadly, Kimberly dealt with the shittiest part of school, which we all fucking know of, and that's called bullying. And people were fucking cunts. And we all know now as adults, hurt people. And they were just jealous, but it doesn't mean shit
Haters.
when you're in middle school, like high school, any of that.
No.
She was shy and she was super pretty. And I just think, and I read in here, and that pisses me off, is that she was bullied for her weight and she was thin. Like, and you get mad that anyone's being bullied. I'm not saying like one thing upsets you more than the other, but it's almost equal to me like sitting here and be like, I keep getting bullied for my red hair. I don't have red hair.
Right.
Like, what is that about? And she was also like super cute. And whenever she was little, or younger, and she was, I'd say probably middle school, she's always been obsessed with like animals. And so she would wear cat ears at like an age that to me sounds so cute. And she got made fun of for that. So she started getting bullied like out the womb. And it's because she's so cute.
That sucks. Like, you know what? Don't yuck anybody else's yum. Like, just let them live. Who gives a rip? Her cat ears ain't hurting no fucking body.
Yes.
Let her purr in middle school. Let her do it now. Who fucking cares?
We got to watch out because there's furries now, but you're totally right.
No, you know what I mean? Like, in those
Exactly
furries aren't hurting our lives.
Don't yuck yum. I said
don't
that.
yuck anybody's yum, man. Like, who?
Where does that come from?
Me.
The yuck your yum?
Yeah.
I thought it was Hannah.
No, me.
You said it.
Mm-hmm.
I had said it this last weekend to someone, and they were like, what? And I was like, don't yuck their yum. And they're like, I love that. That's been my favorite thing ever. And anytime I ever feel like I'm being judgy or like my cuntiness is showing, which happens.
My cuntiness is showing.
Because it happens.
Yeah.
I'm always like, don't yuck somebody's yum.
Who cares? If
Let
it
people
doesn't
fucking do
affect
what they
anybody
want.
negatively, they're not hurting
Exactly.
anybody. Who fucking cares? You want to wear a tail in public and you're 55? You know what? You wear that fucking tail. And wag it when I come walking around the corner.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I'd have a very low-hanging, slow tail today.
I feel like it'd be between your legs and your fur would be up on your back. When Trixie, whenever somebody knocks on the door,
You're totally right.
my dog Trixie,
That's how
like
I feel.
she like heard the hair on the back, her back stands up, she's like, "Argh." Like I walked in, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, that is 100% what it's like.
Yeah.
Wonderboy Media is not only the proud producer of this glorious magic imploring your ear holes right now, but they're also a big deal.
Get in touch with them today to make all of your dreams a freaking reality.
From using their bangin' ass podcast studio,
Where we are right now.
to creating amazing videos and editing our content like the mystical mavericks they are.
Your podcast can go further when you have a Wonder Boy.
Hit up Drew today at WBOYmedia.com.
Or text him day or night at 270.
Just kidding.
She had enjoyed writing, drawing, and role-playing games, especially anything that took her into a fantasy world. She loved animals, as I'd mentioned, and she did want to be a veterinarian tech, and had already enrolled in some alternative high school program that allowed her a more flexible learning environment. So she's not going to have classes at the same time as like everybody else. When she was young, I mentioned, I'm going to cut over that. Sorry. I mentioned the cat ears, which was super cute. This did kind of have her start gravitating towards online friendships more. And that was a way for her to like express her feelings and get a little bit away from the shyness.
Why wouldn't she? I mean,
that's all you're...
real life, people
we're
are
doing.
being assholes. So
She had met Kruse and Cameron when she was in high school and was basically a part of an extended peer group and talked to them mostly online. Now, the way you can read this story, if you were like, I'm going to replicate what Brooklyn did. Whenever you're going through all the storylines of it, some of them hold on to this part. Others have let it go. And so I'm just going to tell you through my eyeballs what I read and how I'm putting it together. Some people thought this part was important. Other people didn't.
right.
The Choose Your Own Adventure book. Okay.
All right.
So she started dating this guy named Zach, who was in the group. And of course, like any other thing, those romances don't last long. And, you know, they broke up and she was pretty crushed. Now, she had reached out to her online friends, Cam and Kruse. And Cam had actually kind of hit on her. I would totally say he had hit on her. And she was like, oh, thanks. But she was more interested in Kruse. I don't know why. Now, Kruse was still close to Zach, and she sort of felt like dating him would be like a way to ease the pain a little bit. And she had talked to her friend Samantha, that was her best friend. And her friend's like, do whatever you got to do, but just don't lead him on, you know? Now,
That's good advice for a 16-year-old or however old they are.
yeah, she was probably more, at the time, she's older. She was 18 at the time of this.
Got
Kruse
it.
was 16, Cam was 17. So all three different ages, but still.
Yeah, either way, kiddos.
Right. So Kruse was laying it on too, though. In a chat, he said that he felt like he could just be more open with her. Quote, again, from Vanity Fair pulled the articles. And so a lot of this will be quoted directly from their chat transcripts. He said, I can't lie to you. It makes me feel guilty too. Normally I can. ... You make me feel very ... honest for some reason. She replied with a laugh and a confused emoji and goes, ha ha. She wrote, thanks, I guess. S. I want you guys to understand too. I think a lot of typing and grammatical errors happen in here. So I think that's where the S came in. Once more, all of this shit was online. All of it. So once more, it reads like a fucking novel that no one knew they were writing. And we're going to be able to go back to all of it. He told her that she was beautiful when she started to complain about her weight. And he opened up about how some things hurt him more than others. And how he knew more about how people ticked. So it was easier for him to put on a mask, if you will, and play pretend. Like he said that. He was like, I understand people more now. And so it's easier for me to put on a mask and just pretend.
Oh, kind of
So
like
he was a...
mirror. Like he would...
Giving me pretty like psychosis, like you're probably on the line of being a serial killer type of vibe.
Yeah.
He had mentioned being violent and explosive, and her response was an LOL. So she's young, right? She's probably 17 at the time. And like, I think when you're of that age, any type of positivity, like he would word it in with like something nice and then say something that would make you be like, what? And then as her being a young girl who has low self-esteem and shy and bullied, it's very likely she only read the good parts. And somehow her mind just kind of on the weird parts, you know?
Yeah, you're definitely naive at that age too. So you're like, oh, he's so sweet, even though he said he wanted to like skin cats with a pocket knife after, but he said I was pretty. Right. Like, so I mean, that sucks. That's such a crazy age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He even mentions that she's too kind and too trusting with people.
He's like,
which is super eerie.
Testing the water and his fucking dots.
They're very dotty up in here.
Very
like
drama.
I'm gonna go into a whole line of shit, and I'm like, do y'all know that you can just make one space and then carry on the sentence? We don't need a dot.
Well,
use a comma, semicolon if it's getting rowdy and you really need to break up that sentence. But
dramatic effect. It's a dot. That was very.
I did it for you.
The way that you just licked your finger.
I did it for you. She briefly dated Kruse, and I have a few questions on this particular part. It's hard to tell how serious they were. Like, I don't know if they were sleeping together. I don't know how long they dated. I don't know. Only one part, because it seems like when the story came out, the most important thing wasn't even the story. It's been parole. So everything you look at right now is a parole situation. Hard to dig into the details of this. Samantha, her best friend, fully believes that when she ends up ending it with him, that's what did it. Because she does. Samantha says that in an interview whenever they came to talk to her, like from, I believe it was a Vanity Fair article. And she had said that that is what had been the catalyst for this, was that she had broken up with him. Another article was like, they dated briefly. We don't really know who broke up with who. Were they angry? I don't know. Because as I go into this, I'm going to tell you that Kruse was dating someone else at one point in this. So I don't know how fucking serious it really could have been. You know what I mean? Were they trying to say, I love you? I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, I would trust her best friend to know, like, he was pissed off because she dumped him.
So they did date. And at one point she did rebuff him. Like, that did happen.
She hated the dots.
Maybe. And that apparently was like all it takes for a guy like Kruse Wellwood to blow his fucking shit.
Oh, no.
And basically it's a can of ravioli on a fire. That bitch is going to explode and Chef Boyardee is going to be in the face. I want ravioli.
What?
I really think I want ravioli. Okay. So at the end of the day, too, like Kimberly really did not know these boys. So by this time, they were drinking blood.
Why? Where? Who?
And bodily fluids.
What?
I want to know what the bodily fluids are. Are we talking that they were drinking their own pee?
Spermies.
The jizz?
What is that? Jizz?
Jizz. The jizz? Were they
I thought you were saying jizz.
whacking into a cup? Oh, I don't know.
Whacking into a cup.
And then drink. You can't whack it into your mouth.
I mean, I guess you could.
Could you?
I think that you could.
I think you could too.
Might hit you though.
I don't know. Could you?
I've read. Are you trying to
see if
suck
you
it
could.
on wing?
I want to see if you could lean that forward. Yeah, I think you
You heard
could.
that rumor?
I think you could jack off into your mouth
Do you I bet you could.
as a man.
I mean, I've seen you do it twice, and you're really good at it.
You watch?
You have really good. Yeah, I had to sell. I got to figure out what I'm going to promote online.
Oh my God. We've digressed so hard, but they were doing that. And I
Jacking
don't know
off
what
in their
that
mouth.
is.
That's
I
what
don't-
you just said.
I'm not saying that.
You did.
All I know is that they were drinking blood and bodily fluids. That's all I've got. And that was one line, and I kept it in here, and I couldn't take it out because I didn't know what it meant, and I just don't know.
I'm glad that you brought that to our attention.
You're welcome. Cam was screaming at his parents so loudly that the neighbors could hear. They were also watching sadistic porn sites, and they were constantly online talking to each other about rape and bondage. This was all happening with Kim in their life, like with Kimmy in their life.
He's talking.
And they were doing this behind.
The boys.
The boys. The boys were doing.
The boys just sit around talking about it.
Yeah.
Together.
They weren't hanging out in person. Like they were
They're just like behind their keyboard warriors.
And I'm probably in person because they were together all the time. Like these two are like you and me. They were together all the time. Like never not together.
Well, you keep trying to get me to jack off into my mouth and I won't. So. I can't move.
Dude, unfriend me. I don't even have an account. Go.
I know. I'm like,
All right, so we're gonna make it weird, guys.
oh, now we're gonna start making it weird.
All right.
gotta
One day,
resituate.
Kim is talking to both guys in two separate chats. Okay, Cam invited her to a party in my pants and promised a cream-filled lollipop.
Stop it. You can
She
tell they're
goes-
so stupid.
Yes, she goes, oh my gosh. She wrote Kruse. Okay, so Cam said that. She's in a different chat talking to Kruse. She goes, oh my gosh. He says he has a lollipop that will last all night long. I didn't know they made those. He goes, Kruse responds back, I happen to own that brand of lollipop as well. She goes, okay. With her cat whiskers emoji, because that was her signature emoji.
Okay.
There are no such lollipop with the cream in the middle. Cam goes, you have death urine on you.
What?
In all capital letters.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. You, in caps, you have death urine on you. Fuck death urine. I don't want urine on me, let alone the death urine.
Is that the direct transcript?
Yeah, this is copy and pasted direct transcript.
Oh my God. And is
So then
urine
Cam
spelled wrong?
goes, yeah, that's why it confused me in the first.
Well, because of the fact that I don't
You have death, U-R-I-N. They're saying urine, right? There's no other word to say you have
No.
death, you're in on you. It's urine. Death
Yeah.
urine. That they were drinking pee. If
Death
it's death
urine.
urine.
What's death urine?
Cam and
Maybe we
Cruise's
should have read
urine.
that line before we started talking about what we digressed to.
You did it.
You did it first.
I mean, we kind of did it together. Anyway, Cam goes, you're going to die next.
What?
Yes.
They were just
Kim
trying to
goes,
talk about
dot.
All right, here we go.
Kim goes, oh, what do you want? Kruse, what are you doing tomorrow? Kim, nothing other than babysitting at 3. Kruse, I'm bored and was looking for someone to chill with today. I also wanted to apologize. Kim, oh, question mark? Kruse, I have some things I'd rather tell you in person about the entire Zach fiasco. Keeping in mind, Zach was who she dated before.
Oh, okay.
And that was friends with Kruse.
Okay.
Kim, this is sudden and I can't help but wonder why. Kim, I don't want to talk about Zach. Kruse, Zach and I aren't as close as we used to be, but I feel you deserve an explanation. Kruse, don't worry, it's not much. Kruse, it's more about why Cam and me and everyone was so mean. I guess they were mean. There's shit I don't like.
Well, death urine is pretty mean.
I don't think they were talking about that. I think whenever her and Zach broke up,
Oh.
people like their friend group was then bullying her. Is probably what happened. That's kind of what I'm getting out of this. Kim, whatever happened to Kim, you deserve nothing. You kill your rabbit. Ha ha. Kruse, that's what I wanted to talk about. Kim, I gotta say when I saw your text, I was shocked. Kim, and confused. Kruse, but like I said, I'd rather talk in person. I can meet you tomorrow earlier than her babysitting and talk about it over a couple bowls. Kim, sure. Kim and Kruse they end up calling. Okay, so then Kim asked Kruse to call her. Kruse does, but he 3-ways in Cam.
I need like a fucking spreadsheet.
That's what I'm like. What the fuck are they saying?
all
So
these names
I
and
don't
these-
know. There's only
Okay.
two. This is a very small character list. Okay, so we have Kim.
Okay.
We have Cam and Kruse. And then Zach is over here being nothing. He just
Okay.
fucking dated somebody one time.
Got
and
it,
unfortunately, Zach's name is brought in here.
Okay.
Nothing other than that. Now, I'm getting a sense that these guys would say fucked up shit to her, and that's weird. I'm going to guess that someone killed her fucking rabbit, or they killed their own rabbit, but I think a rabbit was harmed in the making of this story. And I don't know who or how. And it's never brought up in anything else. It's only in these transcripts. So I'm like, who do I contact about the bunny? Because I don't know. So while they're talking, being little fucking sneaky little fuckwads, as Kruse and Kim talked, Kruse and Cam were then messaging each other. I don't know how they can keep their brains on all this. They were messaging each other saying things like, I'm going to rip her nose ring out and burn it, is what Kruse said.
Sorry,
He goes,
there's-
burn her flesh.
What the fuck?
Cam goes, why not keep her bound and alive? Kruse says, that's what I'm going to do, but I need to get her stoned first and possibly seduce her. Cam goes, LOL, try quickly.
What?
The next morning, I have so much kink on my mind right now. Kim is going on about her day. She doesn't have class and she's going to babysit in the afternoon. I'm making that clear. She doesn't have class. She had mentioned babysitting. No class. And it's clear there's no class. Then she is going to come home and sew her graduation dress because she's better than all of us and we are all shit. We are all shit stains. She was going to sew her fucking graduation.
We are all shit stains.
We are shit stains. If you can't sew your own dress like Kimberly Proctor, we are shit stains. And we need to get better and do better.
I love that. I'm gonna use that word 8 more times tonight. Please. Up, shit stain.
Do it.
I'm gonna say pit stain. Oh, that's more gross than poop.
The poops. Her mother heads off to work and she just lets her daughter sleep in. She was like, she doesn't have class. She's not babysitting until later. I'll let her sleep. At about 10:30 in the morning, she hops off the bus to meet who she thinks are her friends, Cam and Kruse. They had actually finished buying camp fuel, which they had with them. I just want you to know that they met her with gasoline with them. Just know that.
Okay.
They chat for a little bit and then they head over to Kruse's. Mind you, this is the house where his mother's an only parent, so she's off at work taking care of her kids. I feel bad for a lot of people in this. The boys had a code phrase. The code phrase was, I think I'm going to make some KD. And that's a Canadian abbreviation for Kraft macaroni and cheese dinner.
KD.
This is where my deja vu came in. Is this part. That I was like, did I know that from a different journey? I don't know.
I've never heard that in all of my days.
Okay, good.
None of this is sounding familiar.
Wonderful. I love that.
I would remember death urine and
right.
Cream-filled lollipop by this little twerp that was fucking saying that.
But you know damn well. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that was an abbreviation for Kraft macaroni and cheese dinner, which makes me laugh all the time because to me, Kraft macaroni and cheese is not a dinner. She a side item.
She a snack.
She a snack. She ain't the main event. She's a side.
But it's like an opener for a band, but you're really excited because you like a couple of her songs. Like, yes.
It's not even anyway. I thought that was weird, and it also felt so teeny of them. Like fucking teens are making Kraft mac and cheese and shit.
Teeny. I was like, small?
Like teens, i.e. The code phrase unfortunately was said quickly as soon as she basically like stepped inside the house. They fucking attacked her, hitting and kicking her, and they bound her hands and ankles.
No.
Kruse stuffed a sock in her mouth, which he then wrapped in duct tape. They spent the next few hours beating and raping Kimberly until she eventually died from suffocation.
Stop.
I don't even know how she died from suffocation. That's been the thing that's been like eating me up.
Well, if they put the tape, it might have been over her nose too.
Then she would have died in minutes, not hours. Oh, yeah. So she would have somehow not have been able to breathe out of her nose.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Either way, what the fuck?
Okay. I'm just going to say it. They mutilated her body afterwards with a knife, including a 4-inch long lollipop stick, by stabbing it into her vagina and her anus.
Oh, my God. They're so fucked up.
They're so fucked up. They are so fucked up. And then they just take her body and throw it in the freezer in her garage.
Shut up.
In his garage, I'm sorry. At some point, they try to establish an alibi by messaging and asking her if she was done babysitting yet. This also, I just want you to understand who these kids are. During that time, one of his other friends, this is Kruse's house, Kruse's computer. One of his friends messages him, and I'm guessing this poor kid's dad's an alcoholic because he's like, I think my dad's drinking, rubbing alcohol. And I'm like, he's asking Kruse for advice. And you can obviously tell like he's in a rough place. And he's like, dude, can you please fucking respond to me? Like he is obviously going through it. Mm-hmm. Fucking Kruse says, sorry, the freezer was jumping around. Acting like his freezer was broken and he was dealing with it when he was shoving their fellow classmate who they had just raped, beaten, and assaulted her body afterwards and thrown into a freezer.
That's so terrible.
they were on one at this time because Cam texted an ex-girlfriend and was trying to get her to come over. Because it's like, oh, dude, we did it once. Let's get another one in same day. Stupid. Luckily, she did not come and she didn't respond.
Good.
The next morning, they simply put Kim's body in a hockey bag and boarded a fucking bus to Galloping Goose Trail. They head into the woods and under a bridge, they pour that same fuel that they had in their hand when they went to pick up their friend, and they caught it on fire. Epic fail. At some point while they were there, Kruse had popped out a text to a friend. Ping, ping, motherfucker. Ping, ping.
Ping, ping.
Bravo. Thank you for confirming where you were.
Yep.
Much appreciated. Now, let's be honest, like, they did not try to cover shit up. He will believe that this was the big mistake that got them caught. Now, Kim's mom, Lucy, knew something was wrong and she was trying to call her daughter later that day.
Yeah.
And it was going straight to voicemail because no human being shuts off their phone unless it's broken. And that had to have been a horrifically terrifying moment. Everyone's looking for Kim, and Cam and Kruse are just going about their lives. Like the next day, they are just going about their lives. The day after, Cam had fucking brunch with his grandmother and his mother, and they went and took him to the video store, and he got a video game after.
Oh, Jesus.
Kruse hung out at home with the girl he was dating all day. Nothing.
Like nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Now, I don't know if you could fathom this one. That night, the next day, so it's just the next day, 7 p.m., a kid, a young man, I don't know his age, he ends up going to smoke weed at that same spot. Apparently that bridge is a banging spot to hang out because he goes to that spot, smokes him a little doobie doob, finds it, finds her body within the same day that the body was disposed. So fast.
Right.
I'm grateful for that. If there's one thing to be grateful
At least her
for,
mom didn't have to
wait forever.
Wonder and think there was a chance she was coming home. It's all
sadly,
terrible,
it's all horrible. But it wasn't 8 months later. It was the same day.
Ugh.
Poor guy too, to fucking open up a bag where a body was caught on fire.
We talk about that sometimes. What if we see a bag or find it? We just talked about the other day.
Yeah.
That's nutso.
I don't know. I'm sure I was like, I'm too worried about bombs, but I know a bomb ain't going to feel the same as bones in a body. The Vancouver Island Major Crime Unit and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police played 0 games, and they tossed more than 40 fucking officers on the case within like 15 fucking seconds.
Get them, Mounties.
I'm sure these stupid fucking kids are going to outsmart this team. These stupid fucking cuntwads. They went right into the online source as they knew children were more likely to put their motives online, and they dug in. Another reason why I'm saying parents, they're trusting more into. Now I say don't fucking read a journal. That's like really an invasion of privacy. But like a scroll through, just making sure things are fine. I remember what it used to be like to scroll through Instagram. It's almost like it's been 10 years.
Oh my God.
I'm doing my own like cleanse and didn't even know it.
Yeah. She's going to be one of those people that says, I'm going off social media. And they
as I have to create a new page.
Right.
That's empty. They monitored the Facebook pages of her and her friends, and there were basically no privacy settings on any of it. So they had free reins and they didn't need any warrants. So just smart. I'm happy to see cops doing what cops do correctly. But of course, this was in Canada and not the United States. So there's that.
Mounties were mounting.
Yeah, they were mounting real nice.
Oh my God.
Now this story was obviously huge news, and they started to freak out Kruse. So he was afraid to talk online in like the MSN chats, but he totally felt like the chats in World of Warcraft were fine. He was like, I'm sure that they don't keep that on servers the same way.
Really? Okay.
I mean, smart kids. On March 23rd, just 5 days, had to move my arm. Just 5 days after Kim's murder and 4 days since her body was found, Kruse fucking told his gamer girlfriend, who lived in Halifax, on MSN that he had something urgent to tell her, but he wanted to do it over World of Warcraft. So he logs in and logs into his bullshit too and tells her. He heads back on MSN and fucking sends her the links to the news report to make sure she understands that he did this.
What
the girl was like, I don't feel like she really was supportive of him. I think she was just, I can't tell on this girl. Like, she had ended up talking to the cops. I don't know if she, like, now that I'm trying to remember where that landed, I don't know if she went to the cops or then was just questioned afterwards. Like, the shit she says makes me, like, really wonder about her mental health. Because she was like, I'll always be here no matter what you do.
Or, hell, I would say that just to be scared and then it'd be like, hello, 911.
We're a lot smarter
Yeah.
than a 17-year-old on World of Warcraft.
I don't know.
I don't know either,
I'm
but she
kidding.
didn't call the cops.
No, I know. But you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I would be like, anything
I
to
would
survive.
now.
Anything
I would
to
now.
survive.
Now that he goes, that's why I told you, no matter how things turn out, I'll make it up to you somehow one day. Then Cam comes into World of Warcraft chat and fucking confirms it too. What happened to them telling Kim that she was too trustworthy? You're over here telling your girlfriend and you guys are all fucking doing a works cited page of your fucking conquest. Like, what
Right.
the fuck? And then the other part here, riddle me this.
Okay.
When someone says they killed someone that is literally a female around your age, why would you then tell a female around their age of what the fuck they did?
Well, you know that you said that he was kind of narcissistic a little bit.
Oh,
so
no,
he
I didn't
was-
say kind of. I said aggressive.
Oh, got it.
Apparently he was super.
So he
arrogant.
has to tell someone. He can't just brag to his bestie friend, you know? Like,
Yeah.
he wants
But I would
more
think he would tell a
affirmation.
guy. Someone who would think that was hot or something.
Maybe he was trying to impress a female. Who fucking knows?
Who fucking knows? Stupid kids, man.
Kids are stupid.
Stupid
kids.
fucking kids. She goes, what about her family and her friends and all those lives you have ruined?
Right. Good
Yeah.
for her for saying that.
He goes, no, I don't feel bad for them. Then she goes, just don't ever again. He goes, I
Oh my
promise
God.
I have no desire to. Then in a sudden shift, he's like, I want to play some video games for old time's sakes. And he's like, I'm going to go play Pokemon again. I've had Pokemon nostalgia for months.
What are you saying to me? Like, is that code for something or that's
No,
legit?
that was
like,
literally a beautiful pivot. Like us in cum guzzling or whatever we had just said. I don't know. Just shit ass pivots. They don't work. They don't make sense.
yeah, that segue was
Toss them into the wind.
okay.
Just note that the cops haven't read all of this shit. So Kruse shows up to school basically whenever he wants to, but he's on one and he's super aggressive and he's in a downward spiral. His rage is like palpable at this point. One day he's talking about Kim and her best friend Samantha overhears him and asks him to stop because it was just too painful for her.
Right.
And she's like, she was my best friend. And like, fuck. And cunts. And Kruse
Same thing.
stood up and started screaming, no one fucking cares. She's dead. Who gives a shit?
Ew.
Screams this in school when she was murdered. You dumb kumquat. Like, she was murdered. Unless you
Awful.
want to be somebody who they're going to think did it. You don't do that.
Fucking asshole.
Then they were chatting it up online, him and Cam, and there's indeed evidence stating, since we killed that bitch and it wasn't too hard, we should do it again.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah. And then he also, at one point, had told another student that he was glad she was dead and that he hated her. Mind you, they dated. Like, no one, like, they were friends. She thought they were friends. So no one would think that he had hated, like, the output did not, like, receive the same fucking shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they were in a same friend group.
Did not compute.
No, still doesn't. They eventually get brought in for questioning and say that they did see her, but that she left them early to go to school. Here was me saying she wasn't going to school. They knew she was babysitting. Ugh,
What's babysitting?
something
used
I
to-
don't want.
I used to baby town, but now I baby city.
I
I'm
get
strictly baby city. Just kidding. Gross. My ovaries are like, shut up.
Yeah, right. Those are shriveled up.
You're such a bitch. They are definitely scrambled,
Dude.
smothered, and covered. There ain't
That's
no
what I'm
eggs up
saying.
in here.
We should be happy that
This
that ain't nothing.
roost in coop.
Hold on. That's what I was gonna say though. Is like he had even texted her saying, "Are you done babysitting?" Like the message,
Yeah.
their alibi was confirming babysitting.
Right.
School was never talked about.
Right.
So why he said that, I don't understand that.
Dumb.
Fucking idiot. Though she didn't have class that day and she was going to babysit and the alibi crap. None of that made sense to me. So the police were able to get enough evidence by that point to be able to monitor them officially. Guys, sit on the edge of the chair. Let me tell you what they do in the Canadas. Because them bitches be bitching. Because these cops bug their home, their cell phones. They bug the gazebo at the park that they sit in like they're fucking mobsters.
I love that. I'm here for that.
I am here for it.
Yeah.
Flabbergasted, footloose, and fancy free.
They like
good shit.
Waterboard with maple syrup or something.
That means they had been following them so much
that
they knew where they sat to like hang out all the time. Go them.
That's right.
They also had a team monitoring them, which I thought was fabulous because like they get arrested so quick in this little jaunt that I feel like we got lucky enough that they were watching them so hard because they would have killed somebody else.
Yeah, they would have.
They would have killed Cam's ex-girlfriend, I'm sure, that same day.
Yeah.
As one would imagine, the moment they were able to go into their Google, Wikipedia searches, texts, and transcripts of Instant Messenger, they were cooked. The goose was cooked. Between the two, they had 1.4 billion sheets of paper on the two.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Billion? That's a lot.
Billion. Yeah.
That's a lot.
I was wondering how many we would have, and then I was like, I don't know. We are on Teams calls all the time now. I don't feel like we have nearly the text when we worked in different offices. The texts were unruly. Then we started working in the same office, and then it all moves into Teams.
Right.
And then now we're still in the Teams train. So,
but
do you want to get on World of Warcraft Messenger? Because we can start doing that instead.
Yeah. What's your password? No, okay. Too soon. Oh, I had to. Sorry. Oh God. She's gonna hit me
so soon.
Sorry.
So painful.
Sorry.
Right in the fucking balls.
I did kick you right in the dick.
Right in the
I'm
fucking
sorry.
balls.
You owe me a titty punch. You'll have a free. And then
no, you're gonna help me get my Instagram page back.
Okay.
That's
Deal.
what we're gonna. That's what I request.
You got it.
On Friday, June 18th, Kruse and Cam were arrested for Kim's murder. They were super calm and both pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and indignity to human remains. Now, what does that mean in British Columbia?
What does it mean?
They were sentenced to life imprisonment with no possibility of parole for 10 years in 2011. So I wanted to let's talk about what an adult and how long it would take. So life was 10 years, ability for parole after 10. Both of these guys were under 18. Cam was 17 and fucking Kruse was only 16 years old.
I see. That's nutso to me.
What are your thoughts on them being sentenced as adults?
In this case, it was very fucked up. So I think it's case by case basis, just like anything.
Right.
But this one,
keep in mind, Kruse,
acting grown.
They were
doing grown people shit, and only if you're doing that fucked up shit, this is my personal opinion, but if you're doing that fucked up of shit and thinking that way at that young of an age, I don't think a slap on the wrist and a couple therapy sections, quote unquote, will help that. That needs serious treatment. Now, if you want to revisit it in 30 years, fine, try it. But that is fucked up. I hit a dog in high school and I was their age and I was a fucking wreck for 2 months. I couldn't even play a softball game the same day. I cried more than the owners and that was a dog. So I can't imagine doing that to a human and then just acting like nothing's wrong.
Right. That was passionate and I enjoyed it. And
right.
I will just say yes and ditto. Agreed. This obviously means that parole requests have come up because of what year it is right now, 2025. Cam tried to get the same day parole as I don't fucking understand their fucking how they did their shit. I'm going to read this like I wrote this for the joy of our listeners.
Let's do it.
Cam tried to get some day parole, as the overall understanding here is that he was the coward who went along with his friend, who he obviously loved and cared about. But in the same breath, he says he had made multiple bad choices that led him to this path.
Oh, he wanted to go for parole.
He was trying to,
butt buddy was going for parole, right?
No, their timelines were different. I'm just saying, they're basically saying Cam was the calm one. He wasn't the one trying to do this. He loved his best friend and he let his best friend's demons become his demons. And all of his behavior was because he was under the influence of Kruse. And so they're like, Cam wouldn't reoffend, is the thought. And that he wasn't that way. It was Kruse who was that way. And he just became that way because we all like to be blamey bears. Yes.
That's fucking, no. I don't agree with that.
Now, I saw nothing about sexual abuse. And then his response confused me in this because he explained where his rage came from in the Times Colonist article. And I didn't see that anywhere else, but he had mentioned sexual abuse in this one moment. And I don't know.
That he was sexually abused?
Yeah, I don't know. It was worded in a way that was like, yeah, it sounds like it was him, but this wasn't taken into consideration anything else. So I really don't know, but I feel like I have to say it. Just because, God forbid, that was the main part. And everyone's like, Brooklyn, how did you leave that one line out? And I'm like, well, because I didn't find a lot of backing information.
Right.
But I'm just going to say it there. Cam had still been talking to Kruse up until 2021, by the way.
Why did they stop talking?
I don't know. Because he was probably, I'm going to tell you why. Because Cam was going to come up for parole soon. And so he had to be able to say he didn't talk to him anymore.
He was like, you don't control me. You're not the boss of me.
No, he's like, I need to make sure my parole board doesn't see that I'm still talking to him if I'm saying he's the bad guy.
Well, yeah, yeah.
But I guarantee they're probably still friends. Like that Cam stopped just to try to get out. Like that he would still talk to him. Like if Cam got out, he'd probably fucking call Kruse. Now, during their time in prison, they both received comprehensive sexual offender treatment, including chemical castration. Have you heard of this?
They burned their balls off? What does that mean? Because when you castrate a cow,
do you think that chemical castration? Like you think we're just over here in the jail system and fucking burn people's balls off?
Oh, that's what I put 2 and 2 together. When you castrate a cow, you take their balls off, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they didn't pour acid on their balls.
I don't know.
I hear you. It's a medical treatment. That uses hormone-suppressing drugs to reduce a person's sex drive and sexual activity, typically by lowering the levels of testosterone in men.
That's what I said. Okay.
Yeah, so they were basically giving them so they couldn't get a hard-on. But what I will say is, it says typically testosterone. I was like, yeah, because women aren't running around with raging hard-ons that were like, I'm so fucking horny. And then we just see a guy walk down the street and I'm like, oh, I got to rape. Right. I'm going to go take that. Like, right. Yeah, you had to come up with chemical castration for men. Mm-hmm. We don't, I need to find out in the prison system if all the horny women in the jail are just like, I need that pill. My horny time's too high. I'm about to rape. Time. I don't understand. Time. And then, so what if they did get paroled? Are you going to make them take that all the time?
I know.
Because I will say.
Look at these, you show them porn on your phone. Here, look at this. Oh, nope, he's not hard. You're good. Like, how do you check that?
I've also, this could be conspiracy theory or a lie because I can't work cite this. But I remember them saying, I remember this particular item is that chemical is also in, military food. So that they aren't as, horny and driven by sex in, our war zones.
You think that...
So that it calms them. Well, you get distracted with blue balls. If a guy's dick is a garage full of packages, okay. Those packages are going to continue to accumulate unless they're released. And therefore, your garage can get so full of packages, it becomes painful for the home.
You had that in the holster, and I need to know why.
Because
literally you had that description.
Yeah, because what's his name said that? Who's the guy? The famous Joe Rogan. He talked about this whole thing. He's like, the difference between men and women is that men, organically, their hormone, they are creating semen. And their fucking garage is going to get full of packages. The packages have to be released. If you don't release the packages, there's a massive buildup and a garage door shall be broken. I obviously interpreted this into Brooklyn fashion. I hope Joe Rogan never hears it because he'd be like, you did that no justice to that. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, you were magnificent. But yes, either way, they're going to have to burst the there's going to be some fucking lube and some Kleenexes fucking going through all the stuff.
Well, you said all they got to do is shoot it in their mouth.
Anyway, I'm going to get back into it. Now, what I will say on the chemical castration thing, because I really gave way too much thought in this too, is like, if they're giving that to 16, 17-year-old boys while they're in, like, what is that doing to their sperm count?
Right.
If they were actually rehabilitated and they went back into society, would they be able to have children? Could they father children? What does that do? What are the long-term effects of that?
I don't know. I feel like at that age, they're walking little boners anyway.
Right.
So,
but there's no way that something like that shifts their hormones can be okay.
I don't know. They did something bad, so fuck them anyway.
I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of like playing God there with that. I don't know. Kruse applied for day parole in 2022 and it was rejected. He appealed it for a million reasons. That they didn't adequately inform him of his hearing, that the board misinterpreted information from his psych exams, that they failed to consider some of his community supports. Oh my God, shove it up your butthole, Kruse.
Right.
They said, no, we were right. Also, that community support of yours that you want to highlight is like, yeah, I don't really want him to get out. Like his actual community support, the people who were supposed to be a part of his plan of when he got out was like trepidation.
Right. We're like, we're okay.
I don't really want to do this.
You know, I'm really busy in the next few years. How about we just talk about it later?
Oh,
Give him his boner killer pills or whatever.
and then the other part too, at the end of the day, they think he might be doing better, but still feel that he can't regulate his emotions enough to get out. Think about that, because he was probably 27 years old and he still cannot regulate his emotions. Woo! Pacific Secondary School, which is where they had all attended, has introduced a violence threat protocol that allows the police, the school, and social service agencies to share information on students who are perceived as a threat. Once more, would they have been on the list? Yeah, Kruse would have. Kruse would have been on that list.
Yeah.
Because he got in trouble all the time. And the knife and the cutting and all this. He would have been on the list.
He definitely would have made a fucking list.
Yeah. The serial killer list, obviously, was aiming for. As for the family that they ruined in the wake of their choices, Kimberly Proctor's family is still working through the pain. This has to be so challenging because of the fucking perpetrator's age. They will basically have to keep bringing this up in the fear of parole.
They probably,
That is what sucks the most. Well, it was the first, on my personal opinion, I believe that Kruse would do it again. I don't think that Cam would.
Yeah.
I think that Cam and Cam had a loving family, him outside of it. I feel like if Cam would have never met Kruse, there's a huge chance Cam wouldn't have been involved. Kruse was kind of destined, unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel bad for that family that has to go back to the parole hearings every time. And
I'm about to talk about that.
And be like, here's why I don't think you should get out ABCDE.
Yep. So Fred Proctor, who was her dad, said that he wanted them to make everything public, including the coroner's report. I believe he did this to make sure that everyone could read the gory details of how terrible they were so they didn't get back out.
Right.
Since the notification early this year, it brought my family back to a very bad emotional state, says Joanne Landholt, which is Kimberly's aunt. The past 9 years have been very difficult for our family. This is at the start of Cam and Kruse both trying to get out at different times. Kim's father, Fred, he put out a statement that was right around this time about how they were dealing with it. He mentions details about the murder, said that during the trial, he told the judge to make everything public. To me, it would be to make sure I just said that. Apparently, I wrote this twice.
Driving it home.
I'm killing it. Quote, the victim survivors ultimately served the life sentences in Canada, her dad said. My wife, Lucy, struggles with anxiety and depression and sees a therapist for this. She was able to get free of antidepressant meds last year, and now this past week, she had to get back on them. Mm. This is when they came up for parole. It was so tragic knowing that they have to keep reliving it over and over again. And they will have to continue to do that ultimately until Cam and Kruse aren't on this planet anymore. They're still so young. They're 27. I mean, they're probably 31, 32 now. Mm-hmm. And they're going to keep fighting for parole. And I don't know when the next time they get parole, if it's every 10. It doesn't fucking matter, because even if it's 5 years, it's too soon. If they were like the discussing it and bringing it back up and all of this stuff.
Right.
It's not something you can just get over after a week. Like, you've just ripped open 800 wounds that took forever to heal. And it's absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
We've had no control of our lives since March 18th, 2010. Joanne Landell, who was Kim's aunt, had said. She goes, "This is the roller coaster of our life, the life we live now." This is a horrible, tragic story of Kimberly Proctor and her murder by her two friends, Cameron Moffatt and Kruse Wellwood.
That's so bad.
It is. You're welcome. No, I thought that fucking sucked.
Yeah.
I'm happy that they were caught so fast. Essentially, they were caught within like 90 days. I just dropped my glasses. They were caught quickly. They were monitored even faster.
Yeah.
They pled guilty. There wasn't some.
Normally in the trial, it's like, and then they tried to appeal this, and then they did this, and they were like, no, we did it. Fuck.
I wonder too, though, like, so with his dad being a murderer, why wasn't this handled like differently? Because apparently too, I saw this in one part. So I didn't put it in there because I don't have like a works cited on it. But I also read that that Kruse had like really aggressive sex with girls. Like after this happened, like girls said that he was like really like aggressive type of, like made people uncomfortable. And I'm like, dude, you were 16. How much sex were you having? But okay. I'm just curious. Like, he's a son of a killer who hated women.
Right.
And then he's showing the same signs. How, like,
where's the checks and balances though? Like, who does he have to answer to? His poor mom was working her butt off, apparently, right?
Yeah, but it's like,
who would catch it?
The teachers who said that about him.
Oh, the teacher. Oh, yeah.
Like the teachers.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they contact the mom and was like, hey, I know you're at work.
Yeah.
Do you mind coming to parent teacher day?
Who knows?
So we can talk about your fucking psycho son.
And it wasn't hindsight where they're like, well, now that you think about it, he was pretty anti-woman. But I'm just curious,
I don't know because he was so bad and was getting expelled and never showed up. And like, obviously his mom wasn't doing anything to make sure he went to school.
Yeah.
She wasn't supervising in any way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not guilt shaming, but I will tell you the Proctor family went fucking ballistic on the parents.
I bet they did.
They go, I want you to know that when your kids did this, you failed as parents. This is your fault.
I mean, you birth a kid, you're responsible.
Yes.
So that's what I hear. That's what I read.
I mean, I get after they're 18. I totally understand you cannot control a child when they're 18. Dude, get the fuck off my insurance. Fucking go out into the world.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah. Like, I get it on that age part of things, you know. But as for like 16, 17.
It's insane.
It is. And I'm like, how did Cam's and Cam was yelling at his parents so bad that like you could hear it through. What were his sweet parents? Like,
right.
Did they think because it wasn't him deep down that it was going to be okay? You know?
It's crazy.
Because they knew their little boy wasn't actually, but he was.
He
fucking was.
This one definitely has a lot of questions hanging. For sure.
Yeah.
Like the story.
I don't know. It's just a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Because it feels like some things could have been prevented on this one.
It feels like that a lot of times.
Always.
But I mean,
because we're reading the book where we already know the ending.
Hindsight, though.
Fuck me.
We're like, I'm okay. Thank you, though. That was very nice of you to ask. Does anybody, Jess, are you? Jess said yes. Okay.
I'm over here like, and then I forget you have the mic on.
The people that aren't watching it, they don't know that you just hit the mic and all of a sudden they just hear, fuck me. I'm like,
I slammed the mic with my like big ass ring.
I don't know. She's getting all ready though, putting her Carmex on. You know what else I'm ready for? You guys to check out our Patreon.
Oh my God, please do.
Did you like that? For those of you who don't know what Patreon is, it's a little way you can support us, get some extra content. We made some extra stuff here lately that will be uploaded shortly.
Yeah.
And we have a couple other ones coming out. We have some cameos. So if you want us to do any personalized videos, get more of this.
It's all great. Make sure to like, rate, review, subscribe, and look at our shit.
Yeah.
Not my personal Instagram or anything. Stay clear of my personal pages right now. Only focus on A Couple of Sassholes, and I very much hope that didn't get hacked. But
Her OnlyFans didn't get hacked though, so you can check that out.
please don't put that in this world. I do not have an OnlyFans.
If you did, you'd have a lot more money.
I would not be bitching. I can tell you, and I am certain my husband would not be with me. That is also that. But we love you guys so much.
We sure do.
Don't forget. Don't get mad.
Get sassy.
Also, change your passwords. We love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
This episode was sponsored, edited, and produced by Wonderboy Media. Get the deets at WBOYmedia.com to see how you can make your podcast dreams a reality.
Help us out and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to our audio project. Don't forget, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at, of course, A Couple of Sassholes.
Want more sass? Become a member of our Patreon for bonus content, merch, and more. Plus, we're on Cameo now, so there's even more ways to get the sass you need just how you like it. As always, don't get mad.
Get sassy.
Theodore, can I pet that dog?